Well, this video is what I think about Portland, Oregon. I was in Portland, Oregon, maybe like a week, or a week and a half or something. Originally, I was just going to drive through, but then I picked up this hitchhiker, and I was like, ah, fuck it, let's just, you shoot video of it, and I'll drive around. And then we went up to this big park on the side of it. Portland is a really pretty place. The downtown is just on the western side of the river, this big-ass river, this really big river, which then connects to this other really big river, and it's not that far from the sea, maybe like a half hour or something from the sea. Right on this river, and right next to the town is the downtown, which is a really cool downtown area. You see lots of people. It was one of those downtowns where there's lots of people, not like Phoenix where it was abandoned, or yeah, like gentrified. Lots of people there, you know, and pedestrian malls and like happy-looking people. And anyway, then we drove up the side. It was this really steep road up the side of the hill, and there's this big park. He's like, "Yeah, psychedelic park, bro." So we parked. And there's like, yeah, like all these trees and plants with like the little plaque saying what tree it was and where it's from, like from Japan and all around the world. That's why he was calling it Psychedelic Park. And we saw some hippies there who got us stoned. And then this girl's like, hippie chick's like, her name was Butterfly, goes, yeah, let's show you where the hippies hang out. If you ever want to get high, just go over there and like get high. So we sit down with all these hippies. And it didn't seem like they knew any of them. We were just sitting there. And then they smoke their weed, and then these other hippies turn around, they're sharing us their pipe with us. And this kid's there, this like Asian kid, he's like, all of a sudden to me, he's like, spirit, or the 7 levels of the soul, the 7 levels of the spirit body. You meditate to activate all the chakras. And this kid was out of his mind, just from the way, stoned, just because from the way he was talking. He was like basically a mantra that he just says over and over again to me. And I was so high that I couldn't even respond to him. I was just like, cool. And yeah, and then I started stretching, and that other kid started stretching too, and this other girl was like, oh, you guys stretching? And yeah, it seemed really friendly. But then there was these other like younger kids smoking weed on the other side, and they were like doing like fireworks, and this other kid in the group I was in had his shirt off. He's like, fucking cut that out, kid. Don't make me fucking kick your ass. And the kid like said something. He's like, don't try to act all fucking macho in front of the girls. Just cut it out. Don't fucking set off those fireworks in here in Memorial. It was kind of funny. And then like, you know, it's like suddenly acting aggressive when you're like stoned off your ass. But yeah, so I was there for a week, because then I went over and I drove across where I dropped off the Rainbow kid. He was going up there to hitchhike to some rainbow gathering, clean up. Oh, but when we were up there, I was really high, and I could see Mount St. Helens, and I could see Mount Hood perfectly. Unfortunately, I didn't get a shot of it because my freaking battery was dead on my camera. Would have been beautiful. But yeah, anyway, I drove that, and I was going to try and go back there again, but then I rode my bike up, and the bike is fucked. I can't ride my bike for more than like... Oh wait, but then I got it screwed on by some dude who said all you had to do is screw it really tight. No, he put on a new arm. He put on a new arm and screwed it really tight, and he said I have to ride it 50 miles and then have him screw it that tight again. But yeah, I couldn't ride the bike for more than like 10 minutes without that crank arm coming off. That bike's got all kinds of problems. I can't mountain bike on it because the headset's broken, and I can't actually ride on it because the crank is fucked. But and I can't get the bottom bracket replaced or the headset replaced because it's an old ass bike. So it's basically a bike you can barely ride. And it's my only bike that I have right now. But anyways, I stayed there for like a week. I was in this like coffee shop, and it was like they have like hemp like brownies, you know, or something. And like, oh yeah, and buy your hemp clothing, and there's like some hemp store, and like all the girls there dress in these big like hippie dresses, hippie chick dresses, one-piece dresses that look like they're out of the 30s, like what they would dress in the Depression, like plaid. They dress in like the plaid shirts, like it's kind of like grunge, you know, like from Nirvana and like Pearl Jam days, you know. And the girls dressing in the plaid, and then like lots of dudes with long hair like me, and like lots of dreads. And then I saw a mechanic with a whole bunch of Volkswagen buses parked out in front. And it said like vegetable oil. It was like vegetable oil bus mechanic. So I guess there was all these cars driving around in vegetable oil. And I guess you can fill it up with like, you just go to like the fast food place and you just pour vegetable oil in your car. And then it drives off of it. And they were the mechanics for it. And yeah, and I was in another coffee shop. Another hippie coffee shop. And I got a coffee and I was doing internet. And it was like this cozy place. Like the lady was there with her kid. It was like somebody's like house. And she's all like laid back. Like, hey, what's up? You know, not like being super friendly, but just being like laid back. Like, hey, you want a coffee? And then like this other hippie dude, like with dreads down to his ass or something, comes in. He's like, man, I'm so fucking pissed off. You know what the government did today? They just illegalized homeopathic medicine. They just passed a law. And then the lady's like, yeah. The lady who works there is like, yeah, I fucking hate all these corporate America, man. Coming in, they fucking up the little guy. And they like talk bantering back and forth about that for like 10 minutes. And I did do the titty bars though. That's the thing about, they have a whole bunch of titty bars there. And when I sat in the titty bar, there's like, I went to like 15 of them or something. Because I spent one day, all day long, ready to it, and then the night beforehand. And I sat kind of in the distance, so I didn't have to pay. But beers are really cheap, like $2 there. And the girls who work there are really hot. And you don't have to pay to get in. And but I went to one. It was the last one. And some lady, some girl, like really hot girl, she's like, I was standing like away where I didn't have to pay, but she's like, come up here. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I came up and she did the dance. Fucking put her pussy right in my face. So I gave her $1. And then I went to another one just to check out for a second, because I was kind of at the thing, well, let's go to every one for a day. And they went back, and I was going to have one more beer there. And I was sitting in the back part, and she goes, sit up here. And I was like, oh, no, I don't have the money. And she goes, don't watch then. And got all pissed off at me. So I was like, all right, I think I'm done with the titty bars. So I left, and then I got back on the computer, and I was there for like a couple days more, and then I left. I left because there's no Gold's Gym there, and I couldn't have a shower, and I didn't want to get dirty. I did have one shower in the streets there, though. But actually, you know, I'm not saying that like the titty chicks there are bitches. I mean, they're really friendly. Like, there's this really hot chicks who was hanging out with me, talking to me for a couple minutes. And like, yeah, I think they do that. They come up to you and they talk to you and stuff. And she was hot. Actually, I didn't tip those girls. It was their first night there. Felt kind of like a dick later. I didn't realize I was in the VIP part. I thought I was in the back part, but then the lady's like, you're in VIP, you got to pay. I was like, oh shit, sorry. But she was friendly. She called me hon. Then I went to this other one. There's this big fat black lady. And she comes and she sits next to me at the bar. It was like in the middle of the day. I was the only customer in there. I had a beer. And she's like, hey, how's you going? What you doing? I was like, living in my van, driving around. Oh, that's cool, honey buns. You're really hot. And she touches my leg. You're really pretty. Oh, I like your long hair. And she's like, oh, I gotta pretend like I work here. So she kind of dances around like this. It was funny. And I was like, all right, I'm going to leave now. She's like, wait, hold on. She comes up to me off the bar. She's like, give me a hug. Okay, bye. I hope you see you back. It's like really friendly. And then, yeah. Yeah, so it's kind of like there's two different worlds there, I guess. There's Titty Bar World. And I was talking to one dude there for a little bit. Who was that one? I guess he was a regular. And he's like, yeah, these girls, all they want to do is like hang out and make their couple $100 and then go home. He's like, yeah, I'm going to write a book about titty bars in Portland. Yeah, I think that's all he said. But, yeah, so like I saw lots of hippies, lots of dreadlock hippies, lots of, you know, and like alternative, like environmentalist types. And yeah, friendly people. There's not a whole lot of traffic in there. It's not like a really big city, but it's not like totally, gigantic, but it's, but the roads are kind of narrow. It's kind of like, it seems like an older city, you know, the roads are like neighborhood roads are really narrow actually. The buildings look kind of old. And then in the western part of town, up on the really steep hills, you drive up and, it looks like more, I guess that would be the affluent part of the neighborhood. But yeah, friendly people. Friendly people. But it didn't seem like it was totally like wealthy. Like, you know, a lot of like older cars and older streets and stuff. A lot of bikes though. Bike paths everywhere and people on bikes everywhere. Big time bike city. It was almost like I was in Amsterdam or Copenhagen there for a second, because I was riding my bike and we were stopping at the bridge. I guess there was a red light because they lifted up for a boat to go under or something. But there's like a separate bike path on the bridge, and all the people parked at the bike stop like backed up. It was like, you know how cars back up at the red light? It was like 20 bikes backed up at the red light, and it was just like a scene from Copenhagen or Amsterdam, where you stop at the red light and it's like packs of bikes, and then the light turns green, and then all the pack of bikes ride down, and it's all these people. It was kind of like that. So yeah, it was a scene. It was pretty cool. So yeah, it's a cool town. It's a cool city. But I was only there for like a week and a half. Yeah. I like Seattle more though. Seattle seems like more bigger and more well-rounded. I mean, Seattle seemed a little bit like us versus them, like with the whole hippie thing. Like that dude saying that, and I don't know, man. It just, Seattle's just big. I guess and it seems richer, and Seattle is amazing. But I'm going to have to do a video about Seattle when I leave Seattle. But that's what I think about Portland, Oregon.